Hey guys, today I have quite a game for you. As the title suggests and already spoils, I do get into a 1 versus 5 scenario, and whether or not I actually succeed in completing the challenge of earning a Kalabanov's medal, we shall see in the end. But I thought this was a quite interesting match, not just for the decisions made by myself, but for the decisions made by the enemy team. And you'll see exactly what I mean when we get to that moment, but it's Great Wall, and as most players know nowadays, Great Wall is sort of a cyclical map that can get quite annoying. One team goes one way, the other team goes the other, and then they end up capping each other's bases. However, you can see that this is Encounter, and my entire team is going towards the objective. So we're either going to fight their entire team or very little resistance and then have to worry about our rear flank, right? Or them coming up through the middle side from their side of the map that they're going to take. So far, it's kind of looking like we are going to be alone over here, so to speak, in terms of facing the enemy. With the UDES 1516, we try and get into a really nice hold down position up here first and quick. Unfortunately, there's an Emil 2, and this is a very good hold down tank with 12 degrees of gun depression. I try aiming for his cupola. We don't hit it. I realize I'm giving him my lower plate, so I try and find another angle to finesse it with. And one annoying thing with the auto siege mode tanks is their weird reticle disconnects. Sometimes you'll be aiming at the tank and it'll still dip below them in the back, and it's just ranging effects of these vehicles are odd. So I'm like, you know what? Instead of fighting to shoot this cupola, let me just turn around because I see we have a T249 back here. The UDES 1516 has APCR rounds, but they're not very fast APCR rounds. They're actually quite slow for APCR. They're more like AP rounds. And so we can't snapshot the guy that we wanted to. And then we ended up doing that anyway, but we didn't pen. So that's very fun. Now we aim, and we still somehow miss. So I don't know what it is about the aura of the T249, but I'm sure some conspiratorial players will say that's just the RNG being in the paid tank's favor. And I just say, personally, that's just how bad the UDES is. Accuracy can be sometimes. We do get a shot into the 780 on the other side of the map, though, and then we notice this Chilin rushing up this way. I wait until I'm behind the trees to shoot my shot, thinking my very good concealment is going to keep me concealed, but we still end up getting spotted. No worries. We weren't targeted for a second, so we pushed forward. Then we saw we got targeted, so we continued to drive back. We get undetected. He misses, we hit him on this 120mm patent. Now he has a double tap friend, and this is what I meant. My team sort of secured the middle of the map. They were providing pressure on the cap, but guess what? Already we have people coming around the entirety of the map to shoot from our spawn at us. We're now hitting these shots on this double tap like we're actually a good sniper tank, and we've up to 2,000 damage now in an 11 versus 11. Also, apologies, I should have said this at the beginning, but I'm still a little sick. I was hoping I wouldn't be sick today anymore, so that I didn't sound nasally in the video, but I can't put the videos off any longer, so here we are. We're waiting for shots on more players here as they go towards my teammate. And one of my teammates that is there, the heavy tank that is there, that is holding off a 120mm patent, a double tap, and a full health Chaug, is a machine. And I just want to say, kudos to that machine. Balls of steel, and somehow he doesn't get just bum rushed by 3 players who can easily take him out after he unloads a low clip dump into a 2600 HP tank, right? Double tap, though, is making mistakes. We put him down to super low HP now. 120mm wants to lane me for the rest of the game. He goes back behind the rock. So now it's just the Chaug really putting pressure on my machine. And I'm really hoping the machine stays alive. I want to start and shooting at his rear so that I can save him from getting pushed in the back. These guys aren't even gonna push. Here, I take the shot knowing I'm gonna get spotted. It's fine. We look towards the 120mm. He actually bounces us. We don't spot him, of course. We have terrible V-range, 390 base V-range. Luckily, though, we get another ricochet from the 120mm Patton. His reload's so good that we don't get unspotted before he can shoot us again. Knowing, though, that this guy's one shot, I take the shot, and somehow this time I don't get spotted, maybe because this tree that I knocked down is giving me enough coverage. So I decide to play behind the tree now, knowing that the trees to the left here, the yellow ones, they didn't work. The machine now takes out the double tap, but now he's one shot, and it's just unfortunate to see he might have made a Hail Mary play, thinking that the game is over. Or you saw how low his HP was, that he decided that was it. We put the Chog down to 1100, and unfortunately we missed the Patton, but then my teammate shot him, and now the Patton is seemingly one shot if I don't low roll. So had we shot that guy and hit, he could have been out of the game. But since I made the mistake and I didn't hit, he's not. And now I have to worry about a quite healthy Chog that has great horsepower and good armor, and a 120mm Patton, excuse me, with very good DPM and a 420 alpha gun. Meanwhile, I'm using a 440 alpha gun with pretty subpar DPM. It's a 3 versus 7 now, and I realize my team, despite having pressure on the cap in the objective space, has kind of lost. Even though I think I've done a good job of defending our rear to the best of my abilities with the UDES 1516 and with what shots were given to me, 4,400 damage is not enough to skew the game in our favor, and our team's kind of just losing it. Here, though, what do I expect to happen? Well, I still have 2 tanks behind me on my team, so I let them fight that entirety of the map. Here, I want to find a position where I can go sort of hold down and shoot at the Chog and the 120mm Patton that I totally expect to be pushing me right now. Unfortunately, they're not going to do it anytime soon, and I'm going to waste a lot of time waiting for nothing. Our 277 has decided now to bum rush the Centauro and get rid of him. But unfortunately, a 268 is going to easily take him out, as he's now one shot. So because the 268 spotted, and I haven't spotted anything coming up the hill, I decide maybe we could take the 268 out right now. He's now one shot since the 907 on my team has hit him, and I take the risky play of shooting through the rock wall, but I actually hit some more debris in front of it, so my penetrating round does not go through just the rock wall, but instead 2 pieces of soft cover, and I end up not penning the 268, which puts my 907 in a detrimental situation, because now he's gone for artillery. It's a 2 versus 6. I could have killed the 268 for my teammate, but he went unspotted, and I just didn't get the pen through the soft cover. And here I am, still expecting the Chog and the 120mm Patton to be rushing up my rear, but it hasn't happened yet. So I'm getting a little bit worried. So instead of waiting for them to come up, I start to go down. I get into the position we were playing in earlier to see if they're coming around this corner, to see if they're coming up. They're not. They're nowhere to be seen. So while my teammate is desperately trying to take out Artie, and luckily he does, he is being pushed by not just 1 tank destroyer that we can see right now, but 2. And this is where it starts to get pretty bad. I've done no extra damage since it was a 3 versus 7. And now that 3 versus 7 has turned into a 1 versus 5. I still have 1,600 hit points to play with, but now there is someone pressuring the cap. I have no clue where the Chog went. I presume he's the one on the cap, though. I have no clue where the 120mm Patton is. He, luckily, is a one-shot. I know the 268 is also a one-shot. I have no clue what the other 2 tanks even are at this point, and what their HPs are, because I haven't looked at the player board, the scoreboard, the player list, whatever you want to call it. Luckily, the 780 decided to come up this side, and he was one shot. We finessed the round into him when the accuracy was not in our favor, and take him out. Unfortunately, there is a Waffle E100 coming up here, and I'm expecting him to have 268 backup and a 120mm Patton to come up behind me. Excuse me, I can't seem to say that word today. He seemingly has the big gun, puts 1 round into me. I put 2 into him. He comes up in a scary position. I put my hull into the mountain, and I put my side to him, and he misses. Finish him off. We know the 268's one shot. There's now 2 people on the cap, and I make a decision here. I'm still thinking the 120mm patent could be coming up from behind, right? That's why I looked behind me at that moment. But now I'm thinking, where's the 268? Is he the one on the cap, and the 120mm patent is still coming up behind me? So, at this moment, I'm thinking I can maybe come up the hill, kill the patent, rush down the hill, get into the cap. Then I realize, hold on, there's 2 on the cap, and I had 30 seconds left. What I have to do here is take the risk that the 268 is where I'm looking, and just go and stop the cap. Luckily, we outspot the Chow. We're still outspotting the Chow, and I notice I have shots on his cupola. Time's ticking. He goes unspotted. I still take the shot, and we hit. This gives me some extra time to move around the map to where I want to go in order to win this fight. We have loaded heat at this point, and that's so that hopefully we can penetrate the Chog in easier positions, and when we fight the 268, we don't have to worry about aiming at the 268. And the 268 is our biggest concern right now. Not only do I have 15 seconds left on the clock, I was hoping my horsepower would be better than it really was. 8 seconds, 7 seconds, we spot the 120mm patent. He's around the corner, we put a shot into him. 414, I have a 440 alpha gun and I leave him on 1 HP. But he was the other person with all the cap points, so now we're safe. We notice on our mini-map, the 268 pops up. Thank goodness we're using the big map, otherwise the compass map would have obscured my sightline. And we snapshot around into him. I took the risk of snapping for 2 reasons. 1, he had plenty of time to aim. So the deficit of aiming was in his favor. This Chog took the shot for whatever reason, giving me the ability to just poke over and shoot his cupola yet again. I'm worried now that this patent is going to take advantage of me trying to kill the Chog by actually poking. But instead, this tier 10 premium does not want to play the game. So I start shooting down his building cover. I have enough time that I think I can deal with the Chog in a moment. If the Chog tries to push me in any way, I can deal with him. If the patent comes out, I have to get rid of the DPM before I get rid of the hard hitter. I'm 1 shot to the Chog, but I'm 2 shot to the patent. And if I give the patent an advantage, I'm done for. After shooting down the building a little bit, I realize he's not trying to play the game. He's still trying to cap. So instead, I'm going to poke around the corner, see that the Chog is waiting for me to come down, and just put a shot into his cupola. And then here I make a very risky play. He pushes forward. I don't get my gun onto him. Luckily, he bounces me, and the ram kills him. If I rammed him and then he shot me, I would have actually died and traded with him. And I don't think that would have gotten me the victory for the Kolobanov's medal that at this point in time, during the live gameplay of this, I didn't even realize that I had gotten 5 kills, 7,600 damage, 1730 XP, and the UDES 1516. We got all 5 kills at the end there. We see we have 10 medals. I move over to the medal screen in a moment here, and that is when I realized that that was a 1 versus 5 scenario, and I picked up my 3rd ever Kolobanov's in a UDES 1516. I feel like I have to reiterate that yet again. Also, one of my favorite medals in the game, I got the Defender medal for stopping people for capping. We also got High Caliber and obviously an Ace Tanker for 1730 base XP. This, I believe, is my truest Kolobanov's because my first ever Kolobanov's was actually me just waiting out an assault timer while on defense. The second one of the enemy tanks actually dove off a cliff and took themselves out. So it really was just a 1 versus 4 in my Shpatuk, which you can actually see in my review of the Shpatuk. But this one, I finally earned a true 1 versus 5 where I killed all Kolobanov's. And in a UDES 1516. Of all tanks to do it in, this is not one I would have ever expected. And again, fate kind of gave it to me. Not penning the 268, not killing the 120mm patent earlier when I could have done so, gave me the correct situation to win that Kolobanov's. Also, the questionable plays by the premium tanks on the enemy team that I was expecting to pop up behind me at any point in time. They really just wanted to sit in that circle, didn't they? Anyway, that'll do it for today. Appreciate you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.